Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and welcome back to another video for the Strike Back Videothon. In this video I am talking about cover buys. As I've mentioned on this channel before, I don't tend to buy a lot of books simply because I don't have the space for them and because I work at a library. So in a way it kind of feels like I have ownership over thousands of books, they just don't happen to live in my house with me. That being said, however, I did pick 5 books off my shelves that I picked up at least in part because of the cover. The first on this list is my best cover buy of all time, and that's Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I absolutely adore this book. It made it into my top 7 of 2017, which I'll link down below and up in the cards if you're interested. This book follows a girl named Frances who is a huge fan of this indie podcast called Radio Silence. She even spends a bunch of her time doing fan art for it, and then gets the opportunity to do official art for the podcast. You could tell throughout this book that Oseman also enjoys Welcome to Night Vale, which is like my jam, so I definitely really enjoyed this, which is great because I literally saw this cover on Book Depository and went, I need to have that, it's gorgeous. I knew nothing about it. Next is a book that I actually picked up in one of the little free libraries around my neighborhood, and that is Audacious. I'm generally not a fan of light red, so it's weird that this cover drew me in and made me go, yeah, I'll take that home. This is a novel completely written in poems, which I just found super intriguing while I was reading it, and the poem lengths and styles vary throughout, and you really get a clear narrative of what's going on just based on the poems that she's writing. This next book is the last book on this list that I've actually read so far. The other two I haven't actually read, but definitely picked up because of the covers. This one I picked up in 2016 when I was on a road trip from where I live, which is Vancouver Island, BC, down to Anaheim for VidCon 2016 via public transit. That was a really fun month-long adventure, and while I was on this trip I stopped in Portland, Oregon. Of course I had to go to Powell's, the City of Books, aka an entire city block bookstore, which I spent so much time in, and although I couldn't pick up too much because I had to carry it for the rest of the month, I did pick up Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. This one takes place in the Bay Area, and it's about somebody who gets a job at a 24-hour bookstore after their career goals just really don't pan out. And then weird things start happening, as they would do at a 24-hour bookstore, but it gets even weirder than you might expect. I was just mostly excited to pick up a book about a bookstore in a famous bookstore, so that's how this happened. And that night, when I turned off the lights after reading about half of it, I realized that this cover actually glows in the dark, which was slightly frightening until I realized what that light was. So the next 2 books on this list, I have no idea what they're about, but I picked them up because of their covers. This first one is called Sight Reading, and it's just gorgeous. I would imagine based on the title that it has something to do with music. Potentially this person is going to a music school. I don't know. Ooh, it takes place in Boston. I like Boston. Perfect. Yep, this definitely has to do with music in Boston, and I'm here for it because that city is wonderful. And finally, the last book that I know nothing about, besides the cover seemed interesting and because I like words, we have The Word Exchange. Yes, it is a very simplistic cover with all these letters in the background and then this really interesting text that just kind of fades into a different color at the bottom. And I partly picked this up because the title seemed interesting, but either way, this was definitely a cover buy. I have no idea what this book is about, and because I like to go into my books not knowing what they're about, I'm not gonna look. Not to mention it's now the new publishing thing where you put blurbs on the back instead of actually telling people what the book's about. You have to actually open the flap to find that out, which is just a pet peeve of mine, to be honest. So there you have it, 5 books I acquired solely based on the cover. Have you read any of these? If you have, let me know about it down in the comments below, because I would love to talk to you about them, especially the first 3, because, you know, I've actually read those ones so far. In fact, if you've read Sight Reading or Word Exchange and you really enjoyed them, please let me know, because then I'll bump them up on my mental TBR. On the way down to the comments, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this video as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!